be discussing the benefits of play. One of the main benefits of play so far is social development. Social development allows children to interact with one another and their teachers when it comes to the classroom. This interaction allows students the opportunity to communicate with one another and get an understanding of how communication is supposed to work, especially as the older you get, the more experienced you're supposed to be when it comes to communicating with others around you, especially when it comes to looking into job placements and things of that nature. Furthermore, there's also the physical development, which is something that you would want to take into consideration when it comes to incorporating play in the classroom. For physical development, it's important for children to get out there and use their body to the full advantage, whether that's walking, running, jumping, whatever the case may be. As we're seeing in America today, the obesity rate is just growing like crazy, especially among children, because the interaction and the physical development is slacking and it's not where it used to be. This would allow for children to become active again, even if it's something as small as walking to and from play areas within the classroom, or pretending to be walking stairs at a museum, or something as simple as that. It would allow children the opportunity to become physical again and help keep the obesity rate down and just contribute to physical development in that way. Another way that play can be incorporated in the classroom for development is through emotional development. Now, when it comes to emotional development, we can use play in multiple ways. One way that comes to mind is the benefit of using play to show children that working with one another is the right way to kind of handle situations that may be coming to a head. Children who are fighting over a toy, things of that nature. If you incorporate play in the classroom, teachers can definitely use that situation to promote emotional development within students. It would allow children to realize that developing the social skills early on even can just contribute to the future success of those children when it comes to social development in the lifespan of them. Now, when it comes to social development, there's other ways that this can also be beneficial. One way is for children to use social development as a way of figuring out how to resolve situations on their own, firstly, and then also understanding the importance of taking into consideration that other people have feelings and that their views may not always be interpreted the same as other children. Beyond emotional development, there's also the cognitive development that you would want to take into consideration when it comes to play. You have the fine motor skills, you have gross motor skills. All of this is important when it comes to play in the classroom because play can definitely contribute to the growing in both aspects. Now, when it came to observing, there was some gross motor skills and fine motor skills that I did get to experience while watching the students. And I did jot down a couple notes. One thing that I noticed was that children would use their fingers to count, whether that was with them interacting with their teacher to show them how old they were, or even just having a counting competition with another student. They would be using their fingers to examine or show for an example, like 1, this would be 1, and 2, and they would just continue to count up their little fingers, which is one way to really work toward cognitive development, especially when it comes to fine motor skills, which is the use of hands. Another fine motor skill that I seen was that children would use blocks to count, but that would require students to pick the blocks up. They would look at it, they'd say 1 block, place it down. Grab another one, 2 blocks, place it down. That would be another way that I've seen that incorporated. As for gross motor skills, I witnessed one student hopping around the classroom, pretending to be a kangaroo. And I thought that was interesting because it may seem simple to us, but that is definitely a step in the right direction when it comes to developing future skills for the longevity of their life, because these skills just kind of build on one another. The older we get, the more skills we can obtain, but the younger that we are, and the earlier we start the process of learning these, will just benefit to the future of ourselves and even to the future of relatives that may come after us, especially if we go ahead and showcase the benefits associated with learning, especially when it comes to play in the preschool setting. And another thing that I thought was quite unique that I wanted to discuss when it came to observing was when one of the students told another student to shut up. The teacher was quite quick. She was quite quick to nipping that in the bud early to prevent that from escalating. And she also used that as a moment of teaching the student that this is not acceptable behavior and that the other student has feelings and that it's important to respect one another. And by using things of this nature, it allows students to understand the importance of growing socially, emotionally, and things of that nature. It's just a good learning experience for children, especially because they were in a play setting. The child got mad over another child wanting to do something different or something along those lines. And the teacher used that moment in play to teach. Even as something as simple as telling a student that's not acceptable. You can't tell students to shut up. It's not appropriate. It's not how you talk to people. Something that simple is beneficial to the long-term development of people, children especially. The earlier you start, the more beneficial it is.